everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Nerd Cave. I want to apologize beforehand for the late upload. I had some family in town, and I had to put my attention on them, which is fine. I just need now to do the video. Let's talk about the last two episodes of the show Bad Batch. One of the other reasons I held off was I just didn't feel like not this last week, the week before, I think there was the 13th episode, it just didn't deserve its own own video. It wasn't great. The only thing I would recommend for it is it's the one episode you skip because it was not great. It was kind of boring, to be honest. It focused more on their boss, I think. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But her organization being taken over by another organization because he wanted to be like his parents. Okay, great, but it doesn't go with their story that we're focusing on the clones, focusing on Omega, who she is, and why the cloners need her. But I don't know. The only thing that was actually watchable this episode, was the part where the Empire was going to kill the Prime Minister for the cloning facility on Camino. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Probably should have notes or whatever. But so basically they were going to take him out of the equation because he was trying to flee to finish because they were going to be made obsolete in the end. Like, we all know this is happening, but it's just like that was the only decent part of the show. That episode, so that was pretty much my review on that episode. It would be very wise to just skip this episode. Except for like the last 5 minutes of it. Maybe a little less. I don't know. Anyways, the next part of this would be the latest episode of Bad Batch. The fact that this episode was actually decent, half decent, was amazing. It was entertaining. It was action-packed. We got introduced back to old characters that we had thought were done with their story. It was great to see Gregor again. Gregor. That's how you pronounce his name. Gregor, the clone commando from one of the earlier seasons of Clone Wars, and he returned in Rebels with Rex and Wolf in the Walker. Anyways, great episode. I would say definitely one of the top 10. I just wish they had done the rest of this show like this. Like, the episodes where we had the side off where we weren't even in the right direction, it just didn't make sense. But this episode did, because it progressed it with what the story is. We have Hunter now being seen again by Snake Eyes after the fact that they kind of went off on their own path. But here's the thing, though. With this in mind, this means we only have a couple more episodes to wrap this whole thing up. They have so much more with this story that they need to put out there, but yet they wait till like the last minute to push it off. I don't get it. I really don't. So honestly, if you really wanted to tell a story about what the Bad Batch is actually going through with the transition from the Republic to the Empire, we should make another show called Rise of the Empire. I don't know, I've said this in a previous video. It's just, it makes more sense, because then you get to see how Vader was really put into the story. Like, we saw a little bit in Revenge of the Sith, and we saw it a little bit in Rebels, but we don't really see it anywhere else. And I would love to see a transition between Anakin and Vader, like the true I am Vader, Anakin is dead transition to the point of A New Hope. Or Rebels, New Hope, kind of around that area. It would be great to see how his internal struggles with who he's become, who he was, and how he's coping with it. How he's coping with the loss of Padme. Because I know in the comics, they touch base on this all the time, and it is completely mind-blowing on how much this man is struggling and how much this guy is, internally hurting for what he did. Because he really didn't become Vader until after he killed everybody, like all the kids, all the people on Mustafar all the separatists, and what happened with Padme. Like, she technically didn't die on Mustafar, but her heart was broken enough where she ended up dying in childbirth. That's what I was looking for. But basically, I just wanted to see his internal struggle and the fact of how he's coping with everything, as I said. It just would have made a better show. It would be more entertaining. We get to see one of our favorite characters out and about. It would just be so much better, and it would be more watchable than the Bad Batch has been. I hope they go in a better direction in the last couple episodes, but it just doesn't make any sense as much as it should. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I will see you next week. Hopefully, if I don't procrastinate, it'll be up, I promise. Most likely I'm going to be changing it to Mondays instead of Sundays because I have to work during those days. I have to work a normal job. But yeah, so I will see you guys on Monday. Keep it nerdy, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.